is just to design my detail view page. That's all.
Mandy, Peter.
Come again, what you say?
So how is it with your assignments?
Oh, I said it's going well. Actually, I would have actually submitted yesterday. So, but I actually got engaged. So what's left for me is to design my detail view. That's all. But I'm done with every other thing.
Okay, nice. All of you other guys, Peter, Emmanuel. I hope my voice is not so low.
No. I still have some customization to do to the front page. So I'm yet to submit. I want to do some modifications to this page. So after modification, I will submit.
Okay, nice. All right, guys. So let's just I'll just tell you a little bit about what we're going to learn today. Let me drop this one and share my screen. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so there's stopped. So we'll learn how to collect data from users. In our case, let's say a user wants to create a blog post. How do we collect data from the user? And then looking at class-based views, generic views, and let me see. Okay, I think basically that. So let's start. So in order for us to, Peter, please. Peter,
I have a question.
Okay.
This work that we did, why trying to practice on my own? When I'm migrating from the front page to the detail page, where it has the blog /1/2, my own number actually starts from 2.
Yes.
If I type blog /1, it will be telling me temporary something 404 error. But if I start from 2, then it will bring out the first post. If I press /3, it will bring out the second post. If I press /4, it will bring out the third post. Hope it's not an error on my side.
No, now when you create what do you call it? When you create posts, did you create it on the admin dashboard?
Yes.
Wherever you created the post, if you are inheriting from, you are creating the model from another model. Should I say you're inheriting from a model that's Django's model. So it has an ID property that it attaches to each object. And it just goes on sequentially like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and on and on and on. So if you delete one, let's say you delete the first one, it will not go back and create another one for you. So if you delete the first, let's say you go to your dashboard and you delete a post with ID 1, you've deleted that one already. And so you can't have access to that. So very likely the first one or the first item or post is going to be maybe the next one. That's the one with ID 2. So that's how it is. Yeah, but if you want to do, let's say if you don't want it to happen, you don't want your IDs to be named sequentially like that, you can use UUIDs depending on what kind of object you're creating. Yeah. So that's that. But you didn't do anything wrong. You just deleted one. If you delete the one with ID of 3, you've deleted that one already. So you can't have access to that again. You get?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so now let's just we're going to create a form. I already have one, so let me just call it form.html. Okay, this is my form. Oh, I already have a form here. So I already created a form. So I want to be able to create posts. Let me see if I added the button for the form. Okay, let me just add the button for the form. One second, please. Check it here. Just keep it here. Okay. So I should be able to see like this button on my landing page. When I want to create a blog post, I'll just click on it and then it will take me to a view, to the view where I can create a form. So I call the view create. So instead of my URLs, I'll just add a create URL. And then I'll create a view called create. I'll take create post, but let me just leave it as create. And I want the name to be create. So let's just have it here. Then we can create a view, function view, like this. So do you guys understand how this works now? I add the URL for the create for like if I want to fetch the form. So I want to fetch this view, this form HTML. If I want to fetch this view, I'll just add it. I add the URL for that, then attach the view that is going to be displayed. So this is my create view here. So what I want to do is I want to return this. I want to return this form.html when this create view is called. So this. Okay, I'm not passing anything. So this is just this. All right. So let me see what it looks like on the site now. One second, please. Okay. So let me just share the screen so you can see what it looks like. So this is what the form looks like. I'll just go back and go to /blog. Okay, and I have this button here. So when I click on this button, it serves this file. Does that make sense? So these are the details we want to collect from our users: the author, title, category, and content. Okay. So the author, title, category, and content, and then this create post button. Let's see what is inside our create post button. Okay. Go back to sharing our KodeCamp thing. Okay. So say let's start with the form. So we want to submit the content of this form. We have two methods that we use for forms generally. When we are dealing with forms, there are two HTTP methods. We have the get method and the post method. So there's a difference between both of them. Does anybody have any clue as to the difference between the get and post method?
Yeah, the get passes the form parameters and input into the URL, but the post doesn't. And the post is more secure actually, especially when you have to put things in the database.
Yeah, makes sense. So just like you said, the post, like with post method, the browser bundles up all of the data inside your form, it encodes it, and then sends it to the server. But like for the get, it composes it into a URL, into the URL. So if you are sending sensitive information like password, then all of those data is going to be seen in the URL of the browser. So if you have all those kind of data, like very important data, like your card details, it's just going to be there. And then somebody can make use of it. So it's not safe for like sending data to the server. So we're going to be using the post method for our form because we are sending data. Just a method is equal to post like this. So now we want to post or send data to the database. So we need to provide a URL that all of this data is going to be sent to. So we will do that using, who can tell me what we can use to, what can we use to specify the URL for our what do you call it? For where this form data is going to be sent.
The action attribute of the form.
Yeah. So how do we specify the URL?
Okay, action, then the curly brackets with percentage URL, then to the name of the URL in quotes.
Okay, yes. So we're going to use the URL template tag. So you say action. I'm sure you guys have learned form handling before now. Okay, we have template tag. So we want when our so this is like this interface. So when our data is sent, we want it to be sent to a view, which we also call like the create. We still want it to be the create view, but there's a way for us to differentiate what kind of method we are handling. So we can decide to say inside of our view, we can differentiate between the kind of methods we're handling using this request object here. We can say if request the method is equal to so, or let's say post, do this. Okay, sorry. If do this, or let me just say return here. So else, or if request a method is equal to get, then I want you to return this. So in this if request the method equal to get, yeah, I saying if you get a method like this, I want you to return the form, the HTML form. But if it's a post method, I want you to do something else. So in the first case where we are just fetching the HTML form, this is what is going to be, this is what to be used. This our method here. Maybe I should just put it up like this. So this is what will be used. You can test it in your you can test it in your browsers. So let's go back to our form. Okay, so our form is ready to. So let's even test out what get and post looks like when you are trying to like submit data. So others who don't have an idea, no. Back to here. So this one. Okay. So let's try just send dead data. Do you guys see? Blah 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 blah. Okay. So do you guys see in this place? You can see that there are parameters inside of the URL. You have author equal whatever data we send, title, this, category, this. All of your data is going to be out here in the public. So let's just go back and put it as a post method. God, I was not even sharing my screen. Sorry, guys. Okay, but then you can see it inside of here. Yeah, you can see it inside of here. Okay, so let's just make this one a post method. Okay, so we want it to still like go to our create method. We want the post to go to our create view, I mean. Okay. So now when we send data, load. I think I'm still getting like a get. Let me save it up. Okay. So yeah, I think this works now. So we talked about CSRF, that's cross-site forgery. Mandy, please.
Okay, we are not seeing your browser screen, no.
Yes, so which is not bad because like inside of this terminal, you can see whichever request that is going to be made to the server.
Okay, that's fine.
Like, when I need
Yeah.
to like share my screen, I'll just share it. I
Okay,
forgot, so sorry about that. Anyway,
it's okay.
so we have this cross-site request forgery thing that attackers can use to make a user perform a request that he does not even know about, or like he did not intend to perform. So they can just like, it usually happens in like when you are trying to send a data to the database. So somebody can even be helping you, can be saying, okay, can be sending a request to change your password, or let's say you are dealing with money and you're trying to send money to your account or to someone's account. They can even like put in a link that will send that money to their own account. So you will not even know that that is happening, but it can just happen. So Django has this cross-site request forgery protection. They use a CSRF token. So to generate the token and then send it in a hidden, field, send it to the server. So like that token is unique, and it will help to should I say, like, to ensure that it is just that user, like whichever data is coming is from that particular user. So if you want to like what am I even saying? Okay, so if you want to create any form that will be collecting data from the from the user, you need to put in this CSRF token field here. So this will like generate a hidden field that contains the token. If I do a get request, you're going to see what it looks like inside. Let me just do that for a second. It's basically template tag. So let me use the get. So now you get, you see what it looks like from here. Okay, can you see inside of here, there is a token that is generated. Do you see? Here. So this token will help to like authenticate the request, or like to make sure that to help to protect against that kind of attack. So that's basically what this thing does. Like it just generates the token. So then we'll have to post. So now we have our URL set. We have everything set to start working on our view. So if requires a method is equal to post, what do we want to do? We want to fetch the data. We want to collect the data from. The user and then create the post. Okay. Just give me a second. Just give me a second, please. Okay, sorry for that. Back. Okay, so we want to like collect the. So we want to collect the data from inside of this request and then create our create our post. So I think we already have post imported here from our model. So let's just print out something so you guys can see what's going on. So we're going to print out request method dot post. Just see if you render this thing. Okay, so I'm just going to like send the data again from the backend, from the front end, I mean. Can't remember where I opened it up. Okay. Okay, there's a request coming in. Did I change it to get or post? Let me just close this up and run it again. Okay, what did I? String object has no attribute post. So press the post instead. Okay, so inside of here, you can see what the request of post. So you can see what request of post contains. It's like a dictionary that contains the token, your other fields like author, title, category, content, and all of that. So it's from inside of this request of post that we are going to get all of the data that the user has sent to the backend or to the server. So now we're going to now say author is equal to request of post author, then title is equal to request of post title. What did we send? Category and content. Category and just add content again first. So if you like, you can even just like say you can just say data is equal to request of post. Then just instead of saying request of post again and again and again, you just use data, something like that. We don't need to print this one again. So now we want to create the post. So we'll just say post is equal to post. And we'll pass in all of the data we want to pass in. Author is equal to author. Title is equal to title. Category is equal to category. And then content is equal to content. So and then we'll say post.save. Like this. Okay. So let me quickly clean up what we have in our admin dashboard. So let me just share again my browser. So we don't have anything anymore there. If we go to /blog, now we will not see any post. So let's just go back. Oh, you did not send that one. Okay, so let me just read the author. Heritable. Then we have glowy skin. Beauty. Then we'll create post. So if you go back to our blog, you see like it shows up now. So like that's just that. So first you can, if you want to like have a different view for let's say creating the post, you can just do that. And then you just do if request method is equal to post. But I think this is more effective because we can just capture both of the methods inside of one view. And then you just get the values of the data that your user has sent using this post attributes, request a post, and then you simply save like this. So yeah, this is just simple. So in Django, you can decide to do excuse me, let me go back to share my this again. So you can decide to create your form manually, or you can use Django forms. So if you want to create Django forms, you just, okay, let me see that. So you just add a form. Let me see, let's add a form file inside of here. Just call it forms.py. And then just say from Django import forms. Yes. So what do we call this our form? Let's just call it create post form. So I'll say class create post form inherits from forms.form. So this is like Django's basic form. There's also like the model form, but then we'll look at that later, which is like the model form inherits from this form. These forms are form. So that one it has some other features that can help you to create forms much more easily. So inside our form, we want to say which fields we want to create. So say I want to create an input field for our author. I'll just say author is equal to forms dot. So there are different kinds of fields you can create. You can create character field, you can create URL field, email field. Like there are many of them. So I don't know if I have a link that I can send to you. So I think I'll send the link later. But then you can create any kind of form you want to add. There's also like a date field, file field, and yeah, there are many of them, sure. To accommodate like all of the kind of fields you likely want to use. Okay, so we're just going to use a character field. You can even say, okay, I want my field to have a label. I'll give your field a label and say, okay, author or author name. You can even say, I want this field to have a maximum length of like 50. So let's just say max length is equal to 50. Something like that. So by the time your data is being collected, you're going to like check if all of this criteria is met. So if the length is more than 50, then it's going to throw an error. So but then let's just leave this as it is. We also want, okay, let's say we also want a title field our form dot title. I think this should just be okay. Then for our content, post content. What data do we need? Category. Category. So I think this one should come before that. So what Django is going to do now is it's going to use this data you've provided and then convert this form into HTML template for you. So we'll see how that works in a while. Okay, but then let's do this one now. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, before then, let me just move this one. Okay, so inside our views, what we're going to do now is we're going to import our form because we want to send our form. You know how we send what do you call it? How we send context to our template, to bind to our template. We can also send a form to our template. So what we can do is, let me just say bind the form to a template. Bind the template to a form, or whichever one goes. So we're going to just say inside of this get, because it is when we're getting the form, that's when we need to send that particular, when we're getting the form template per se, that's when we need to create this our form. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a form by instantiating the imported our form from the forms import create post form. Okay. So yeah. So we're going to instantiate this class here, and then we're going to pass it to the what do you call it, to the template. So we'll just call it form and just say pass this form like this. So we'll send the context here like this. So inside of our HTML, we don't need to do so much. We just remove all of this content we have here, and then just pass in our form like this. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, something is wrong. So forms, okay. I did not put a semicolon in our forms when I was creating the form class. So let me restart that. Okay. I did not start our labels, so they are away now. But then this is what it does. It just translates all of those fields into a template. If you inspect what is going on inside, you'll see just that. Just inspect that. Can't you? So it just automatically creates all of this. See? Okay. So then I don't want to have labels for my form. I just want to have like placeholders for my form. So how do we do that? So like every form, let me just come back here. So like every form has a widget, this widget attribute. So like the character field, every field has a widget. So for this character field, I think I just want to have like, I don't want to have labels. Let me just remove these labels first. I don't have labels. I just want to have what do you call it? I just want to have a placeholder. So here I'm going to say widget is equal to widget is equal to that text input. And I can even give it attributes like the attributes field is a dictionary. So I can give it attributes of placeholder or which other attributes you have inside of your normal HTML forms or HTML input. So I want the placeholder to be author name. Author name like this. Takes no argument. Did I put it inside of? This is you. Okay. What's going on? Okay, let's see if this is right. Let me see. I think there's an error somewhere. Content. Do you have comma comments? So that was the error. Okay, let me try and reload the form and see if that error comes up again. Okay. I think that's clear. Well, I wonder why that error came up. Okay, so I don't think that error, I don't really know why that error came up. I've not done anything to fix it, or maybe because I added the max length. Let me try. Okay, so CH. Okay, give me a second, please. Okay, let me see if that error comes up again. So, Mendy,
Yeah.
did you have your hand up?
Yeah. But I think my question has been answered by what you did, because I thought it was compulsory for a char field attribute to have a max length
Okay,
argument.
you are using what do you call it? When you're using models, when you're creating a model
It's
for,
compulsory there.
yeah, you have to create a max length
Okay.
attribute.
Okay.
to
So, but
try.
anything other than a model,
And this one now is
becomes
just translating to templates. So
okay.
if you say max length, then it's going to show in the template. It's going to, yeah, something like that.
All
But then
right.
I don't know why we have this error we had. But then if it's not breaking anything, then I'm not going to touch it. All right. So I'm just
All
going to like have what do you call it? I'm just going to have this everywhere. I don't want to labels because I don't have styles for labels. So I just want, this one is the title. I also want placeholders. That's category content. Okay. So let's see what our stuff is looking like now. Okay, it looks better now. Why is the label still there? You do not have labels anymore. Not. I'm just going to restart the server. We still have labels, but we shouldn't have labels. Okay. And then where is it getting the label from? So maybe it's getting the label from the name. So if you don't want the label, I will say okay, maybe I should just do that because it seems it's just adding labels automatically. I don't want them. Okay. Okay, so now we don't have labels anymore. Our form is looking better. This is what our form is looking like now. So, but then our content is not supposed to be like a text input field. We want something like a text area. The text area, what do you call it? like a text area anyway. So we can still like use widgets. Instead of form.text input for the content, we just say form.text area. Like this. So, but we don't need to put the max length and all of that. Maybe I'll stop. Yeah. Django form has no attributes text area. No, mistake. Should be in the forms dot character field. Forms dot text area. I put capital A. Yeah, remove the label. Max length. Okay, this is how it is. So let's see what our document is looking like now. Okay, so now we have, I don't want the label. I'm going to just say label is equal to nothing. Okay, so this is better. So this is how like you can create your form. You just create a form and then you put, I'll come back here. You create the form and then you just send it in the context and you put it inside of your HTML form. And that's that. But then like this makes you, what does this remind you of? What does this forms remind you of? Does it make you remember what model, like how it was when you were creating models? I mean, apart from the widget and all of that, though. And the label.
Yes, actually, it does.
Okay. So yeah, with Django, you can create forms from models. So let me say I don't want to use this form like this base. There's a base model, like there's a base model for form, but I don't want to use this form because it's still basic in the end. I just want to use model form. So I can say from Django forms, import model form. Model form. So we have model form here. Forms is not defined. Where's forms? Okay, what is forms? Okay, from Django.forms. Why? Okay, I think it's from this place. It's from this forms.text input. Okay, so the basic way we can just do this, let me just remove all of this. The basic way we can do this is we can just say, okay. So the basic way we can do it, we can just like import a model and say from the models, then you import the model you want to derive your form from. So in our case, it's a post model. And then we can say class meta. We'll define the model we want to use, which is post. And then the fields we want to create. So all those text field, they have like their corresponding, each form field has its own corresponding model field. Or should I say each model field has its own corresponding form field. So for like text, when you use text field in your models, like we did here, where we did contents equals models of text field, it will create a text area for you in that regard. So you just say the fields you want. So in our case, we want author, want title, want category, and we want content. So it's just going to like create the fields based on this. So what is good about, like, what is nice with this particular model form is that you can, there are so many things that are abstracted. If you fetch all of your data, you can just, it has a save method that allows you to just save directly from the form to the database as long as your form is valid. So like that's what makes this very, very interesting. But do I want to use it? Let's use the normal form. But then this is how you create a model form. You can even have like extra, you can still have like extra attributes. If you want to customize your attributes yourself, you can decide to create it inside of here, like as like inside of before this meta class here. So you can create inside of there, and then if you want, maybe you want to add any other, because it has its own default, Django has its own default way of showing your forms. So if you want to customize it, you can do that up here. But then let's just go back to like our normal model, our normal form. Okay. We're fine. Model F is not defined. Okay. All right. So let's use this for now. So instead of our views, I'm battle with my this thing. Okay. So now, you know, when we were so you remember when we were sending our form, when we were creating our form, when we populated it, it was not bound to anything. There is no data inside of it. It's just an empty form. But now, when you are receiving data from the user, now it now has data inside of it. So all of those data is inside of that request object. So what you do, okay, so what we do is, let me just clear all of this for now. So let's clear it off. And then we'll say form is equal to this our form with our request of post object. So now we've populated it with the data inside of our request of post. So now when your post, like when your form has been validated, the data is going to be stored inside of a cleaned data dictionary. So the form has this cleaned data dictionary for like your valid, for the fields that have been, for the data that has been validated. So we'll say if form dot is valid. This will help you to like validate against all of the conditions like you put inside of your forms. So if it is valid, then inside of it. Then we'll say, remember I said it is inside of the cleaned data dictionary, like this, cleaned data. So we'll now start getting our data one by one. Author is equal to form dot clean data author, and then like so for the rest of it. Author, title, category, content. Okay. And so now we can say post is equal to post, and then you pass all of your data inside, and then you can save the form. Let's see if that works first, because I don't know. Just trying to reshare. Give me a second, please. Okay, so let's just test again. Like, just going to create fake data. What's going on? Okay, it says 200. Let's check if the data was added. Oh, it was added. Okay, so I think I told it to render the form again. So I don't know why it's rendering just the form is not there. Okay, I think because we did not send back, we did not send the context. Is that why? We sent the context. Okay. If this render log slash. Okay, so we did not send the context in this place. So I think if I want to, so like in this post, if you notice, I did not send this context form. I only sent this blog form, and then there's no like form object inside of our form. So it's only show the button. Do you get? Unlike in this case where I sent the context. So like I did not send the context here. So by the time I went back to the blog form, there was nothing inside. There were no fields or there was no form inside. Does that make sense? So, but like I just wanted to go back to /blog/index so that somebody can create another form again and then view his form, his post. But then, like I said, with that model form, if I was using model form here, I'll just say if form is valid, then I'll just say post is equal to.
You can't see what you're typing, no.
Please, sorry. So if it was the model form, I said I was just going to say post is equal to form dot save. So I can that one just save it. So I don't need to start doing this one by one. But then even without like with the model form, this save method here takes in a commit attribute. So you can decide to say, okay, I want to save the post, but I don't want to, I want to like save the post, like save the data, but I don't want to send it to the database yet. So you can say commit equal false, and then you can keep adding extra attributes like post dot, maybe something, I don't know, post dot, maybe it has a URL. You can say, okay, post a URL, call URL or something like that. So, but like this is the basic way of using model forms, of using ordinary forms with Django. But this forms does not have a save method. This normal form does not have a save method. You have to do this. You get? I hope that is clear. Okay. So let me see what's next on our list. Okay, so now we've been using what is in the chat? Okay, so we've been using what do you call it? We've been using function-based views all this while. So like they're cool, but you can make life easier for yourself with class-based views. Class-based views also have generic views that help you to write minimum, or should I say, minimal Python code. So you don't have to write so much if you know how to use if you know how to use generic views. They are class-based views as well. So it's just like help you to, you don't like have to write so much code. So let me show you what class-based views can do for you. Just do this very, very simple. This is like the simplest thing you can do with class-based views. Just come into your URLs. Let's just close this up. Okay, I don't want to delete them. So I don't have anything in my views. So I can say from Django.views, the generic import template view. So inside of this path, I'm just going to do something like this. Template view dot as view template. You have to specify the name of the template. So this is just going to serve this template view is just going to serve a template. So you have to pass in the name of the template, and our template is inside blog slash, I think that's what we called it. So blog slash index.html. So this is like the simplest implementation of views. Hope there's no error. No module named Django view. Django.views. Okay. So let me see what that looks like. Okay. Yeah, I'm using I'm using the URL. I'm using the create view inside of the template. So I have to remove that. But then I'm just going to like comment it out so that we don't have to just comment it out. So you don't have to like, okay. All right. Let me see. This is inside where? Okay, you have been commented out already. Okay, so I just deleted that because I don't like problem. Okay, so I just like removed all of those. I removed the a tag that had the create view URL and this thing. So yeah, that's like the simplest view. The simplest way we can use, what do you call it? We can use class-based views. So, but then, you know, sometimes we want to pass context and all of that, and it's going to make our URLs just messy. So we can just clear this out and create our view inside of our views the way it should be. So just organize a bit. So which of my screens are you guys seeing?
None of your screens.
Ouch. Okay, let me share again. Okay. So we're inside of views now. Let's put that there. So let's just create a template view, like a generic view, generic template view. What do I call it? So you just create a class, just call it the home. Then it inherits from template view. So the only thing you need to pass to this template view, like we did in the URLs, is the template name. Template name is equal to, what do you call it? Blog slash index.html. And then that still works. So there's still like other generic views, like, you know, let me say Django knows like the common, in fact, if they are like common, all of the things we've been doing, they are common, should I say common things we do with in web development, like display a list of items, display the detail of one item. So Django knows how those things work, and it can just easily abstract all of that for you. So you don't have to start saying, okay, I want to get this post with an ID of this. And then you start saying, okay, post or object or get ID is equal to this ID that was received. Django can abstract all of that for you. So I'm going to show you another generic view. The first one, though, is the list view. Let me start with the list view. So just go to Django, the views, for generic. So let's just close this one up. Or should I just delete it? So we want to create a list view. So just call it the home, call it home view, and then we'll say generic.list view. So what this generic.list view does is it will just take in a template name, and then if you are going to be passing in a context, it will send the context. So this is generic.list view, template name, okay, template name is equal to your template index.html. Then we're going to be passing. So let me just go back and, okay, fine. Let me just delete this one for now because of errors. So then we're going to pass in a context object name. So we're going to call this context object name is just what we want to call the that's what we want to call the object that we are sending to the, or that we are binding to the template. So in this case now, in our index.html, when we were looping through, when we collected data from the former view, we sent in a post. So we're going to call, we're going to call this context object name post. So now how does Django now get the post that we want to bind to this particular template? It uses this method, get query set. Some method. So then we want this to return. We did not import post again. Okay, from dot models import. I want it to return post.objects.all. So it's going to pass this data that was getting here inside of this context object here. If you don't put the context name, I think it's just going to pass in post.object.all, and then inside of your form, you have to do for post in post.object.all, but without this brackets here, like without this brackets here. So let's see if that works. It's supposed to work, because I don't have strength. Okay, there's an error, I guess. Path name. Okay, sorry, there's something we need to do that I did not do. That particular home view, we call it home, called it home. So this home is a class, and so it does not have it does not have a method for you to access or like pass data through. Should I call it what should I say? It does not have an entry point to send a request. So you need to call just as we did in the template when we were using the template view. We're going to say home.asView. This method allows requests to be passed to the class, to the home class. Post is not defined. It's post not defined. Let me go back again to views. Please, it should not be post. It should like inside should be inside what do you say, string. So it should be inside of what do you call it? Quotation marks. Reverse for detail not found. Go back here. All of the places where there are like URL template tags, there are going to be errors because we don't have them anymore inside of this URL config. So there are going to be errors. Okay, but apart from that, I think we are like clean. So what this does is, let's go back to the views again. What this does is it defines a template. If you're going to be passing a context, you have to define the context name. So you will use that particular context name to perform whatever operation you want to perform inside of your template. And then you have to define which model you are, or which the objects you want to be passing to the templates if you need to fetch data from the database. So there are some defaults for these generic views, like for the template name. So if you are not going to be specifying a template name for the list view, you are going to have something like your, what do you call it, inside of that your template directory, you're going to have the model name. So like you already have /blog, you're already inside of the blog directory, for example. You're going to have what do you call it? Let me go back again. App name. Okay, so we have blog, and then you're going to have the name of the model. So let's say the name of the model is post. So we're going to have inside of your blog, we're going to have post _ list.html. So it's going to now be blog/post _ list.html. I don't think that's clear. So let's say we have our template now. We have a directory for our app. That's like a directory for our app's template. So if it is blog, it's going to be blog / the name of the model. That's the default. I'm saying the name of the model, that is post, underscore list. So like post list.html. But then in our case now, we've already said we want this particular block, this particular template for our list view, for our home. But if you don't want to specify, then you have to follow that convention. So there's also the detail view, which we're going to use right now. Please, somebody is. Hey God, you guys are entering me. I don't have strength, honestly. Okay, so yeah, we have this detail view, this other detail view. The detail view is going to, the way it works is, it just like Django knows that, okay, if you want to get the detail for let's say for a particular post now, it knows that you need the ID of that post, and then it will just help you to like fetch it. So let's just let me come back to this space. Okay. Back to KodeCamp. All right. Thank you. All right. So back to, now we want to use detail view. Let's just copy this one and paste. So we'll just call this one detail. Then the template name is going to be blog/detail.html. So we are not like sending all of that, what do you call it? We're not sending all of those posts like in this home, like in this list view. So we're not listing all the posts. We just want the detail for one post. So you don't need to specify anything. You don't need to get any query sets and all of that. What you just need to do is to say the name, and you say the name of the model, because if you don't say the name of the model, Django will not know. It's almost like 10 minutes. So Django will not know which model to get, which particular model to get that object from. So we have to specify the model, in our case post. So now instead of our URLs, .py, you know, when we were doing this thing on our own, like when we were doing manually without the generic view, let me clear this one. So when we're doing it manually, we said, okay, we want to receive post ID from the user, or yeah, we want to receive the post ID from the client. But now you don't have to do that. The detail view requires just one. It's still the same thing because it's still the ID. So it just requires the PK. It's like primary key. You don't need to specify anything, like because you're like using their own abstraction. So you have to like follow what they want, or give them what they ask for. So in this case, you just give them the primary key, and that's all. So once it gets the primary key inside of the views, it's just take the primary key. It has the model that it has the model that you want to fetch from, or you want to get data from. So to just post the object.get that PK or ID, and then save it on the blog template. So let me see if it works. So oops, I removed the button. So back to here. But before we even do that, we're supposed to even go into the URLs. Abi? This detail, we did not import detail. So this detail, and then we also have detail.asview. Okay. Yeah, like this. Okay. So, but then let me just test it live, like in the address, whatever, the address bar. Funny thing is, I don't know the ID because I've deleted so many of them. I'm just guessing. I don't know. So that's why we need to, let me just go back. This is detail. I gave it a name of detail, yeah? Okay. So before I check, let me just be sure inside of close this one. All right. Okay, so you see that I did not specify detail view here. I was still using this view. Okay, see if that works now. All right. So just get funny errors if you don't do the right thing. All right. So like that's how detail view works. Do you guys have any questions? Mandy.
First question. I realized that you specified the model in your detail view. Can we also specify the model in this view? I can't hear you. Hello? Hello?
In which view? Which view?
Yeah, like in the generic list
Yes,
view.
I said in on my notes. Yeah, I said which view? Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well now. Not
Can you also
anymore.
specify the model in the generic? Can you also specify the model in the generic list view? Hello?
Yeah, I didn't get you.
I said I thought you could not hear me before.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you before. I was asking if you could actually also specify the model attribute in the generic list view.
Basically, you can actually. So you can just tell it which you can just tell it which model you want it to fetch for you. And it even has like other it even has other what do you call it? Other features. Like if you have so many data from the database, like you have like 500 and you want to like paginate the data, you can say, okay, I want to paginate this data by how many you want to fetch. Say you want to fetch 15 per, or I want to fetch 15 posts per this thing. You just say, okay, paginate by 15, and then to fetch 15 at a time. So yes, you can.
Okay. Secondly, why does it feel like Django is opinionated? Because it just feels like you just need to be knowing all the syntaxes, all the names. It just feels like you can't write these things yourself. It's more like there's a prepared pattern already that everyone just must follow.
Yeah, I think it also depends on the scope of your work. So it depends on what you want to do yourself. But then I think it's basically just from the beginning, we always said that Django is to just help you to make life easy, like make life easy for you so that you can do other important stuff. So if it's just for you to like, I want to for because your application might not just have this, might not be as simple as this. You might have other important stuff to do apart from saving templates. So instead of now writing plenty code, like 5 lines of code to just send templates. I can just do this now. And then I can focus on other stuff.
Okay. All right. I have a pro question to ask. I don't know if anybody has a question as regards to this topic. I'll ask that later.
Okay. So, but then if you want to like, for like a list view, if you want to like list just values for, let's say you want to filter some kind of data, want to filter by some kind of data, you can still use a list view, but then you need to use like your query set method, so you know which particular data you want to filter by. You can say your model, the objects, or filter this, this, and then it will still like help you list them with the list view. So like that's the point of the query setting. Okay. So somebody was asking about static files, like if you want to serve CSS. I was telling him to try. I was telling him that he can. I don't know if the guy is. I don't know if he's here. Let me see. Okay. So I was telling him that yeah, you can serve static files, but I don't know if you tried it at all, if you got any results. Okay. So like it's 14:45, but if you want to like if you want to serve static files for your project, just as you did with your templates, you need to, just as you did with your templates, you need to also create a static file directory. And then remember, for our templates, we said, okay, we can like get away with just putting everything inside of the templates, but like it's best practice to put your template inside of a subdirectory with the name of your app. So you should do the same thing with your static file. So you create a static file directory inside of your app, create a subdirectory with the name of the app, and then put in your static files. So you can still use the static template tag inside of your HTML. You first load, say somewhere like here now. You just load your static tab, load your static files. So you say load static. You say load static, and then you use you add your link for your for your CSS, and then you use your URL. I said your URL template tag. Just going to keep them like this. And then you say, I said your URL, your static, and then you say static, and then you specify where your what do you call it, your style is in. So let's say you kept it in static/blog/CSS styles.css. You just do it like this. So this static what do you call it, this static tag or template tag is going to load, is going to go into your settings and then look for where it's going to like fetch the static URL and then use that to find each of the static files in all of your installed applications. So that's that. in case you want to like keep your stuff neat. I mean, that's what everybody will want to do. So what else again? I think that should be it. Does anybody have questions? We're already run out of time. Okay, Joey, do you have any addition?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so this is like outside the class. I know I've seen a lot of jobs openings on JS backend, PHP backend. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, but it's kind of like rare in this part of the world to actually see the Django backend. Like, so the question is, how available or how readily available are the need for the Python developers? Excuse me.
Okay, me, I also had that problem too when I started. So like, but then they are still like because most of the time, even if you are seeing Django jobs, you see for senior roles and all of that. So, but then there are still job boards. Like I'll send some to you guys so that you can see what they expect of Django developers. But then they are not as much as JavaScript though. But you find, and there are some job boards that are very helpful. So I can send them to you guys on Slack.
Okay,
But
that
don't
will be.
discourage you anyway.
No, of course, I'm not discouraged at all, though.
All right.
So, yeah. Okay, I think that will be all for me.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Zoe, do you have a question to ask? Sorry, I said question to ask. Do you have anything to add? Any addition?
None from my end. Come on, you should be laughing. I could also ask questions.
Zoe is the boss. All right, guys. I don't know if IK is here. So.
Of course I am. Why not? Why won't I be? You want me to ask questions?
For closing prayer, sir.
Okay, so thank you. Okay, thank you guys. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
Bye-bye.